I'd like to introduce you to our theme today, which is a review of construction and housing into 2015, with an outlook and forecast for the next year or so ahead. So without further ado, I'll hand over now to the Minister of State for Housing and Planning, the Right Honourable Brandon Lewis MP.
I think it's important to remember where we've been in order to look really at where we are and indeed where we're likely to go next. Our reforms to the planning system have put power back into the hands of local people. I think actually in terms of quality there's a really important point with this, and it's not just about quality of build, I think for me it's about quality of design as well.
What I was going to do now is give you our analysis of current industry activity and particularly the prospects for 2015. The real growth we're seeing, the real driver that's pulling us out of recession has been the private sector. It's been leading us out of the recession, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any change there, but we're looking at a broader housing market recovery in 2015 rather than perhaps the sort of London-centric recovery that has attracted a lot of media attention over the last year or so.
The other big driver, of course, in terms of the general economy is population growth, and the UAE and KSA, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in particular, are sucking in huge amounts of immigrant population, immigrant labour, and that is in itself boosting the need for housing, social infrastructure, transport infrastructure, utilities and so on and so on. With growing populations, of course, water becomes increasingly important. Water reuse, water recycling and desalination becomes incredibly important, and Abu Dhabi is now already talking about revamping or rebuilding an RO plant that it built not 10 years ago. Growing populations mean waste. The Middle East hasn't yet really worked out how to deal with all its waste. If people have waste management expertise, the Middle East is a growing market opportunity.
Hopefully what I can give you in the next 20 minutes or so is an insight to what BIM means. It stands for Building Information Modelling, and you can see that the graph really shows the optimism and the anticipation that is just building and building as we're moving away from recession. The thing to think about really is less about what we're spending, but actually the amount of cost as a result of waste. There's a lot of wasted materials, there's a lot of wasted time and effort through rework, and we've got to get that right. We can create better value buildings throughout not just the construction phase, but throughout their life.
I'm interested that the Emirates has come past Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is huge, it's a way bigger market. What's going on there? Is it an effect of your data collection processes being particularly more efficient in the Emirates? Have you got less transparency of projects at the moment in Saudi? Or is that a genuine reflection of where the market's going to be?
Good question. I'd say a small percentage of it is probably data collection, but it's only a small percentage. The larger part of it is the Saudi government is a much more cautious spender than the Dubai government.
What's your real hand-on-heart prediction about housing? I mean, you gave the minister a bit of a tough time with your comments on, and then some of your numbers are good. On the other hand, as the chairman of the FPS commented, is it really just a London and South East effect here, and are we going to see it reach out to the regions?
I'm pretty positive actually. We are going to see a much more of a regional picture coming forward over the next year. I think there's a switch going on there. Actually, London may have had its day in that sense.
Finally, what we really want to do is to help you to focus on growing your businesses. So we're going to give you tools that will allow you to schedule updates, schedule the way the product works, allowing you to really take away the information overload and really understand what is important to you and your business.